back to our Mind into Motion chat. Today we have one of my dear friends, Sammy, here with us today. Sammy is a personal trainer with Equinox. And where are you located right now, Sammy?
I'm in Dallas, Highland Park area.
Okay. So we're both still in Texas. I have to ask these things because, we met in college and we were both in fitness, and then fitness has become both of our lives. So I'm really, really excited because she's so much more than a personal trainer. I mean, personal trainer, I think we wear a lot of different hats. People think that you just show up to the gym and they tell you how much to lift, but I sometimes do feel like a therapist, I think, right?
Oh my gosh, that's probably 95% of my job.
Absolutely. So we're just going to chat about some things today that she has brought to life in her. We kind of got reconnected in a group that she has on Facebook, actually, called the Fit Tank. And in this group, she focuses on 3 different things, and we're going to focus on those today. So the first is fitness. Of course, we both love fitness, and that's kind of our home, I would say. And then entrepreneurship, which I know is kind of a new foray for me, and I'm still navigating that crazy, crazy world. In fact, we were just chatting as of this recording. I just decided not to come back to my job of 9 years and to dip my, not just my big toe, but my full body into the world of entrepreneurship. So I'm excited to talk about that with you. And then feminine energy, which is big for both of us. I definitely work with women, and actually I work with a lot of moms now too. So I think that's going to be fun. So, can we first talk about accessing fitness? Because I feel like sometimes that's people's first, they don't know where to go. So if you were to just tell people, okay, here's the basic access, where do you go, what do you pick for fitness, what do you suggest?
So my initial thing for people to understand is that the details are only as hard as you make it. And if you've never done anything ever, everything's going to work for you, And so I think that people think there's only one answer and there's only one way to get to where they want to go. And in theory, as you get more mature in your fitness understanding, you'll really fine tune. You'll learn what works best for you and your body and your lifestyle and your personality. But in the very, very beginning, the best thing that you can do is to just start somewhere. It doesn't matter. You can close your eyes, point at something, and that's going to help you become more healthy, active, and understanding yourself. And like you said, so when you did the intro, the hardest part about being a trainer is that you're being introduced to a bunch of different personalities, people coming from different walks of life, different experiences. And so at the end of the day, the science is all the same. You have to work hard to then achieve results. But where people fall over themselves is really with the mindset. And that's why as coaches, we are taking people from step A to B, because otherwise they'd be able to do it on their own. So to take some of the thought out of the process, because the mental part is so overwhelming, I just tell people to start somewhere. If it's 20 minutes on the treadmill, start there. If it's a dance class, start there. Because as your body starts adapting to whatever you choose, you start learning about how you move, why you like what you're doing, what you don't like about what you're doing, and then you'll start making your tweaks to customize your fitness journey after that.
Yeah. So I know, and both of us, I think, we love group fitness, and it's so hard. I'm always like, try Zumba. It's not for everybody. I know, and you probably do this too. It's something that you like. I know that's a big thing. And for some people, they don't even like going to the gym. I know clients that I've worked with, they're like, I don't want to get out of my house. Either I can't, I don't have childcare and I've got little beasts running around everywhere, or I can't see myself in that. They're in that block. So I know that there are online programs, and I think that being an expert in the field, you could really bring some of the pros and cons up with me. And I'm going to, be devil's advocate here, because I have an online program, but I also know that there are some cons. And I want to get those out there, because sometimes doing things from home is good and it's helpful, but not always. So what are some pros and cons of having an online program?
Okay, so obviously the easiest part about the online program is that it's kind of like taking an online class. You kind of get to self-pace and you get to leave it up to your interpretation, which sometimes when you're starting things in the beginning, you want your own room to make your own judgments. Online programs have guidance. It's more guidance than it is a very firm structure, because at the end of the day, the program's made for the general population. That program's not custom tailored towards you. So it can be a pro, but after a while it becomes a con, because everybody's different. Everybody thinks differently. Everybody wants something different. And like I said before, as you go through your journey, you'll start needing answers to more questions that come up for you. So meeting with someone or having a coach, whether it is an online coach, but having someone directly with you through the process is the game changer. It is the thing that makes a difference. It's kind of like doing your taxes online. You can do it online and they have it guided for you. I don't know about you, but I still don't feel like I'm doing it right.
No. Oh, no. I know nothing about taxes. Like,
exactly. You don't know anything about it.
I could be getting like raked over the coals. I have no idea.
Easily. And it's probably been happening for years.
Yes.
But if I was working with a CPA and I took the time to schedule an hour or two with a CPA and he could go through detail, because that's his job. That's his specialty. That's what he went to school for.
Right. Well, and I think that's a big point, Sammy, is I think, and we probably see this in our field, is that people underestimate, like, it's your body. You only get one body, but because you're in it, sometimes you think you know a lot about it, you know? And so it's not like taxes, where I don't live in the tax world. So I know very clearly, I know nothing about it because I see them once a year. Yeah, I think that, I'm sorry, I just like jumped right over you, but I think that's so what you said there, people really need to hear. Like, people go to school for this. They're trained experts in the field.
Exactly. And like I said, we've seen, you've trained thousands of people in your classes and in your student classes, and you've touched so many different people. That causes you to be experienced in a way that someone who's read everything on the internet will never be able to understand, because it's different to know things up here, but to have experienced it with somebody else, with a client, with a student, whoever, or even just with yourself, it's a completely different game changer. So you and me, we are able to offer a different perspective to someone who is constantly in their own body. It's hard. You have blind spots that you don't know that you have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, totally. Totally. And I love having the online for the beginning. And I think I try to bring that out too. Like, this is where you start, right? And everyone has a starting point, like you said, but if you really want to stick with it, I even have clients. I have one client who I love to death. She's lost a ton of weight, and we got past that point. It's like, okay, now it's time for a gym membership. Like, now it's time to go out there in those yoga pants and show everybody what you've done, right? And sometimes that's part of it, not hiding behind it. So then we get past that original phase where it's just something, it's just activity. And you're right. It's crazy how fast you see a difference if you just start to move. And people need to find, if they're wanting to continue on this journey, they need to find an expert. How do people pick?
You can attest to this. This is the answer that people don't really like to hear. We always know when something feels right, and because we used to teach yoga together. So, I always would suggest people to go to different classes and just test out the different teachers, because you're going to catch a different vibe. Someone's going to click with you in the right way that you need at that time. It's a little like abstract. It's an abstract answer, but I would go listen to the people online who are speaking and see if most of what they have to say, what their content is, the way they present their message, if that clicks with you. And if you feel like that's just the person you're supposed to be with, that's who you pick. That's how you pick, whether it's an in-person trainer or whether it's someone online. That's how you pick the right person to follow. You don't want to pick the person that's got millions of followers just because they have millions of followers.
Right.
That's you can literally find somebody on Instagram that has 100 followers and their content just speaks to your soul, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, there's a difference between and we're speaking in like modern terminology, I guess, like an influencer,
yes,
and an educator and a trainer and someone who has your best interest at heart.
Has your best interest at heart. That is like, I feel like with every client that I experience, they are trusting me with their heart by giving me that chance to show them through a journey that they're terrified to experience.
Yes.
It's all about going outside of your comfort zone. So who do you trust? Who do you trust? That's really it.
Well, and I think on our end too, like I'm totally okay. If someone comes to my yoga class, they're like, this is different and I didn't like it. I'm like, okay, totally cool with that, because I don't want anybody to be somewhere where they don't like to be. So, I mean, I would even add like, hey, if you tell them no, they should be okay with no.
Exactly.
Like, if you're not their cup of tea, they should know, because I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea for sure. For sure. But I would hope that you would find somebody that clicks with you.
Exactly. There's plenty of us to go around.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Go shop for the person that fits right for you.
Right. So how do you, because I know I am a big mindset person. I know that, and I've learned this my hard way for me, and I've seen my clients learn this hard way. I've seen my students learn this the hard way. I know that mindset needs to be there before action can take place. And we're a culture of action. We want to jump into the next latest, greatest craze, but mindset has to be there. You have to want it for it to stick, or you have to understand what you're getting into. How do you promote mindset with your clients or yourself when it comes to fitness?
That's a hard one, because everybody is at a different spot with that. Some people seem like they're more naturals when it comes to the mindset. I will say the tendency is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So,
oh my gosh. Can I just say amen right now?
Yeah,
like,
right,
amen.
right. It's what you're seeing in your fitness experience, most likely you're seeing in the way that your house is taken care of, the way you clean your car, the way your desk is messy at work or not messy at work. It's a single skill, and it translates across everything that you do. So it's kind of being aware of your mindset. It might not have to do with fitness mindset. It might have to just do with overall mindset. If you're an ambitious person, you're going to take your ambition into the gym. If you're not such an ambitious person, you won't take that same ambition into the gym or other areas in your life. So I always think it's about being aware and trying to figure out what character traits are weaker for you that need to be there in order to complete just a task. And then that same task will come down to your fitness tasks, like going to the gym, eating correctly, blah, 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 all that stuff, doing the research. If that area is weaker, you can practice being more ambitious, for example, by saying, I'm going to clean my house today, and doing it and letting that be your check. And then I'm going to make my bed this morning. Let that be a check. And every time you start training your mindset to set a goal and check it off, set a goal, check it off, before you know it, that same decision making is what you're going to be checking off things at the gym too. So it's kind of like, it's just so integrated, it's
I hear you.
It's hard to just say you're only wrong here. But I will also say sometimes there are those occasions where people are ambitious in other areas, but they've told themselves they're not good in the gym because they tried to lose weight and it didn't work, and they tried to lose weight and it didn't work. Well, it's a little bit different, more of a different emotional space. But if you can recognize that you are ambitious in a career, you do raise your kids, and you do push really hard in those areas, you do have the skill set to be able to apply it to the gym. It's just becoming aware that you are competent and you are capable.
Yeah. I love that. And I love what you said about like the little things about, just making up your bed in the morning
Yeah. It
and
seems so unrelated, right?
it seems like it, but I have a coach, like just kind of mom coach, not related to fitness, life coach.
Love it.
And that's one of the things that she starts everybody with is like, are you making up your bed in the morning? Like it's the small stuff is the big stuff.
Really?
Not making up your bed. Why are you trying to start a 24-day fitness diet overhaul thing? Like you can't even make up your bed.
So true though. It's
sometimes
so true.
tough to hear though. And I know like for me, I know I'm a starter. Like I like this thing and I'm like that everywhere. I'm like, new ballet bar class. I'm there. And like, I'm there for 2 classes.
Yeah.
So
you're a good starter, but maybe not a finisher.
I know. Like, that's why I teach. Like you have to show up every week, Gretchen. Okay.
Exactly. That's so great.
Yeah. So let's shift. I mean, I say shift the focus, but like mindset runs through everything. But I want to talk about your take on entrepreneurship and how you're leading people. Cause I have a lot of people coming to my program. So that officially launches January 2019, but we've had 2 test groups. It's an online program. So I get a lot of small business owners, home business owners, entrepreneurs because of that. And I know that they would love to hear some of your thoughts. So what prompted you to start focusing on, since I know personal training is entrepreneurship, what prompted you to start focusing a whole group around fitness, entrepreneurship, and women, basically?
Absolutely. So I'll be honest, it's so funny. I heard influencers, really successful people say this. Every single one of them said this in some form, but it all started because I was trying to figure myself out. I was just trying to figure myself out. And being a personal trainer, I went to school for fitness and science. Like I wanted to go and teach people what I knew, and that's all I wanted to do. But people aren't going to listen to you until you have yourself branded, until you know how to sell them, until you know how to do all these other things. So because I love living from a very authentic place, I couldn't get there without going completely backwards and understanding myself better to know what to present to people. I was able to kind of coast through life, just again checking things off. Okay, I signed up to be a group exercise instructor. Okay, that class went well. Now I feel like I'm a good yoga teacher, and I was just living in the moment, not having to ask myself any questions. But that was because I was in school. Things were set up for me. Things were structured for me.
Then imagine teaching in that environment for 9 years.
I know. So you're just like,
yeah,
like life is a blank page. I can do anything. Are you sure? Like, so no
one ever told me that. No one
ever says.
But it's they don't tell you this, right? They don't tell you.
No, and they don't tell you how painful the process of uncovering your stuff is. Because you know it's there and you're technically okay. You're technically good, but to reach down far enough to be able to verbalize stuff about yourself and then find the confidence behind it. And the confidence is what attracts people to you. So you can't just fake the confidence. You actually have to figure out how to be confident. All of that has been I started the Fit Tank about 2.5 years ago now. And I'm just now able to truly verbalize what matters to me and why. Like that I can tell you right now because I've had to go backwards for the last 2 years. And so now I'm able to present myself in a way with words, with confidence, with an energy that's, here I am, but it took a while to get there. I just knew I wanted to teach people about how the heart works, Yeah. And so the journey of entrepreneurship, I got into teaching that because it's just been so powerful for me. And in that journey, going through school, going through life, you get tired, you get overwhelmed, you get exhausted. And I'm in the fitness world, but I wasn't fully practicing what I was preaching. And when I finally fully made the connection of my performance as a trainer, cross out the word trainer, put entrepreneur, cross out the word entrepreneur, put mother, cross out that, you can put that into any context. As a human being, I show up better with more energy and more confidence if I'm taking care of my body. Because if I'm shoving caffeine down my throat, if I'm losing sleep, if I'm staring at my computer screen just to feel like I'm working when really I'm not doing anything at all, I had to figure all of that stuff out. And because I'm just now feeling super clear about it, I'm like, everybody should feel this way.
Yeah.
Everybody should feel, because I believe that each of us has a very important thing to say. If you feel like you need to say something to the world, then it's important to say.
Yeah.
So like you felt so called to start your own thing. This didn't just start yesterday. You've been thinking about this for a while.
Yeah.
You know, and you've been innovative the entire 9 years you were at your previous job. So this is who you are, but now you're trying to figure out your own voice, and you don't have your old job to keep the structure there for you. So it's going to be a process, but making sure you're taking care of yourself through that is going to help you be the mother you want to be while you do this, while you figure yourself out, while you da-da-da-da. You know what I mean?
Sammy, you're like speaking to my soul right now. But you know, I love this because so many people, when you start talking about entrepreneurship, why is that hard to say? Whatever. They start immediately with like LLC, and you know, they go into these business terms, and that honestly, probably that held me back so much more. Because we did not go to school for that. I mean, you and I came out of the same department, came out of the same, like, what was your major? Were you exercise phys?
Yeah.
So same major, same department, same everything. And they don't teach you anything about business at all, even remotely. And so when you feel called, like you're saying, like sometimes entrepreneurship is feeling called to say something and to be something and to give people what they need, where they need it. And what's holding you back is what everyone else says entrepreneurship is, which is making money and filing taxes. And I feel like that is, you know, a tiny part of it. And there are people out there who are paid good money to do that for you. Like, exactly. I don't need to know how to do that. Thank you very much.
It's
That's where I can earn this money and put it to those people that are like trained to do it. But I love that you're talking about that, because that whole, so many people they're called to be a voice, or they're working in, I know I have fellow mentors who work with other moms, and they're feeling like they just need to like repeat what has been told them and not own their own voice, because they're stuck in this, almost like we were saying, you're stuck in, I don't want to say corporate, because it wasn't really corporate necessarily for me or whatever, but you're stuck in this, it has to be this way, but there's always room for your voice. And I found it teaching. Yeah. I wasn't having to like, you know, again, it was my own version of entrepreneurship. I was impacting people in the way that I found it in my voice, not the money part of it, but I love looking at it that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's kind of like, I think our entire population, all of society is shifting more in this direction, or maybe I'm just in the world more.
No, I think it is. I really do.
It is, right? Yeah. Everybody's, especially like Instagram and social media, everybody's searching for their own individuality. And I think it's very empowering to recognize, even if you are in a 9-to-5, you are your own, you represent yourself. Yeah. You represent how you show up in your job. You represent how you show up in your relationships. So you have to be aware of who you are. I was watching this video on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and this guy was talking about being an influence. He called it social seduction, because we have to seduce people into believing that health is good for them. Fitness is good for them. Being a good person is good for them, you know. And he was saying if two people are communicating to each other, the person who's going to win in that conversation is the person who has not the most influence, it's a stronger sense of their own identity. So, if you know how like, this is kind of hard to explain, but you know how like pressure kind of flows from high to low, there's always going to be a flow of energy from 1 to 2. So the person who wins, if you had to say wins, the person who has the most influence is going to be the person that isn't aggressively overpowering, but it's a person who's so strong in their identity that there's no room for them to deviate. Oh my gosh. Does that make sense? So it's like the stronger we feel called for our message, the more people we can influence. Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that is impactful for what people deeply desire.
Right.
So it's understanding your identity, especially as an entrepreneur, because again, you have so many people telling you how to do that. Learning who you are is so, so important. And that's why I really see that tie-in with fitness and entrepreneurship, because you learn a lot about yourself in fitness.
Yeah.
You have to challenge yourself. You have to do all kinds of crazy things you've never done before. So yeah.
Especially coming from our program where our crazy boss made you do everything.
I know. All the things.
All the things. Though, and going back to that, don't you find, just like in your talks, and don't you find that when people get to that place, like if you're talking about the financial aspect, it kind of starts flowing to them.
Oh my gosh.
When people firmly believe in something, there's no doubt in the fact, at least in my mind, that the product they're selling or the course that they've developed or the coaching that they're starting, or whether they're a personal trainer, there's no doubt in my mind that they're good at it, they believe in it, and they've researched it because they're so confident in it.
Exactly.
And that's where I'm going to be spending my money.
I've seen so many people who are awful trainers or awful influencers or whatever, and you just look at the content of their quality of their content, and it's like, this is a little weak, but their confidence is so there that any and everybody will listen to them. You know,
I'm, like, in a way I get jealous because I'm sitting here and in the back of my mind, I'm like that's not even true. But
oh my gosh.
Wow, you're selling it. You are selling
literally, they're winning.
Generally, they firmly believe that it is. And the stuff, like, I mean, to clarify for people that are watching or listening, like, if it was something harmful, I would definitely speak up. But it'll be like tiny little things about like unsaturated fat that I'm like, that's not entirely accurate. But I'm not going to jump up and be like, no, you're harming millions, because it's pretty, like, it's not a harmful. Like, they're still, they're just justifying a correct practice the wrong way, maybe. So, but it'll be little things like that, that because of our education, we're kind of, we
know too much. But no, it really is like the person who speaks the loudest or the person who has the greater influence. So it's on us, the people. I mean, everybody's right in their own way, right? But the people who truly, truly have the heart behind their content, I think we're doing a disservice to the world if we are not finding our confidence so we can strongly portray an energy that we know the world needs.
Yeah. Oh, love it. I love it. I love it. Something that I wanted to talk to you about, and I don't know if I've been watching a lot of your little videos and things, and I think I too have seen, just from me watching you, I've seen this shift in you. Because all of a sudden, like, I've seen, I don't know if it's you did your own work. I'm just seeing the product and your presence. I gravitate more toward your live videos and your presence. Because I think that authenticity is starting to really bubble up and over in a way that's attractive, because you found whatever. I mean, not that it ever wasn't, but I'm just.
No, it wasn't for a while. Trust me, I know exactly.
Just from my own, like, I mean, I don't ever like to go back and watch other stuff that I've done in the past, because I'm like cringing. But it's not that it's bad. It's just, I'm like, why are you trying to be that person or whatever? But so when it does come down to, and this is something that a lot of people struggle with, and I think maybe it goes back to that idea of valuing yourself. I've heard over and over people don't value free. And there's still a lot of people out there who, and I do plenty of free things. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of people out there who take their really great idea and just blah, 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 and give it away. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts behind that? Is this a service that we're doing? Is it a disservice that we're doing when we have all these really great ideas?
I always say, and always as in more recent. So where I work, one session to work out with me is $135.
Ooh,
it's
girl.
expensive. So it took me probably a full 2 years to wrap my brain around.
You're worth every penny, because of everything you've been through, gone through, learned. They wouldn't have hired you if you weren't worth it.
Exactly. But you knew that. I couldn't tell myself that, right? You would be able to look at me and say that, but I just wasn't there. And that goes back to that identity confidence thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what finally allowed me to wrap my mind around being a high ticket personal trainer, high ticket online coach, high ticket whatever, is it's going back to taking our old mindset around money off the table and believing, yes.
I'm just like, go, yes, go.
Just like you said earlier, if you live with that authentic space and that authentic heart, the money, the love, the everything will come back around to you. So you have to believe that first. It's a trust thing. I mean, it literally feels like you're letting go of the wheel driving on the highway. It's like, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. So you have to learn to believe that first. It's the hardest part. But when you do, recognizing that you putting a high price on your content, on your product, it's not to pay you back for your work, because if you truly love what you do, it wouldn't have felt like work. But where you're putting the money on is for other people. So say you're up here, this is your standard, and this is where you and your clients will be once they've worked with you. They're up here. Right now, your client's emotional energy is down here relative to whatever it is that you teach. You putting a high price on being up here is going to be more compelling to them. Maybe not initially, because we all have messed up money mindsets, but you requiring your content, your product to be valued up here, especially in the coaching industry, especially on an emotional journey where people kind of just want to stay where they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Slapping a high ticket dollar sign on your content is going to force these people to come up here. So we have a 24-hour policy. Are you going to sleep through your alarm knowing that you're going to lose $135 for sleeping in?
Yeah, maybe. No, I'm just kidding.
I
have a kid around that says like, no, but absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Very compelling.
Yes. So you, it's an investment. It's an investment. Now it doesn't have to be everything that you put out, but the things that you really feel are going to soul shift people really should be of higher value for them. Because how many things have you bought online? Maybe it's a 6-minute abs for $5. Did you even open the email to look at that thing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, especially if it's something that it's like, sign up for and this goes back to the free thing, sign up for my webinar, it's free. I generally, I've done so many of those, and then I'm like, I don't have the time.
Yeah.
I won't look at it.
It's low value. It's low value. Not that the information is low value.
Right.
But the price for me, when time and money and energy is a finite resource, people are trying to figure out where to prioritize, what to focus on. So if you put your content at a higher value, it's going to force them to focus on it.
Yeah.
It's going to force them to focus on it. And this goes back to believing in your content so deeply that not too long ago, I allowed someone I knew to pay for, what was it? We were doing a month-long service for $150. Can't remember, one session with me, 1 hour with me is $135 where I work. But we're going to have the remote thing, right? So
and my online course is considerably less expensive than a one-on-one coaching session with me would be.
Absolutely. And that'll go for different reasons. It's going to attract certain people, but this is the other thing, is it attracts certain people. So, this is not to talk bad on this person at all, but her commitment level, this was already a desperation move for her, because she just couldn't get up to do the things on her own. So we agreed $150. I know her, we'll do this. And she lasted about 2 weeks. And it's not to say because she's a bad person, but
she would have already spent that $150 in 2 weeks. It was gone. It was out. Yeah. It
was already gone. School picked up for her. She's a teacher. She has 2 kids. When you're juggling all of that other stuff, $150 you just forget about it. Now, if you pay $2,000, are you going to pay attention to that then?
Oh yeah.
Do you
Totally.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's just remembering that as you're an entrepreneur trying to set your prices, free is always helpful, but
Right.
you have to kind of establish where you want to sit in the market. And I always try to go back to reminding people, Walmart has a purpose and Whole Foods has a purpose. There are people that need Walmart. There are people that need Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to decide who is it that you want to work with. One person's not bad or better or worse. It's just who is your audience? Who are you trying to cater towards? You can't value yourself at Walmart prices for people who shop at Whole Foods. It doesn't translate, and vice versa. So if you want to work with people who can afford less, go for it. But just know that if that's truly what you want in your heart, the money won't be a thing for you. It won't feel any different for you. But I think what people mostly have an issue with is reaching for higher and higher prices. And it's just because we ourselves aren't comfortable there, but we're all working and trying to understand this like greater abundance concept. And
and knowing that, especially like, I mean, our society, money will find you again. Like
absolutely,
it's very different. Money is, to me, seemed almost very fluid. Like it's a thing that sometimes there's a lot of, sometimes there's not. And I change my way of spending depending on what I'm making and what I'm not making. It's just very like, I just quit my job. So that's very high on my mind right now, but coming down and really looking at the budget and looking at where you're going to spend that money. Like
exactly,
you're going to spend the money.
You're going to go somewhere.
Right. Where is it going to go? Is it going to go to you? And then communicating that to clients can be its own challenge. But I love what you said about like bringing, like if they can commit to this, they're automatically going to rise to the occasion.
Yes.
And it's not just physically. It's not just I paid this much, I'm going to have a $135 a session bod. You're going to have that bod because mentally it goes back to mindset.
It does.
Are you there or are you not there? And
absolutely,
if you're not there, then I can't waste my time and I can't bring it to where you are because I'm never going to be able to build you up to where you need to be.
Absolutely. And everybody's this number, the higher level number is different. Somebody's $200 price is going to be what pulls them up. $200 to a millionaire is going to be a drop in the bucket. It's going to be nothing. So again, it always goes back to defining who your ideal audience is and what feels emotionally good for you.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love that. And I really love that explanation. I think it's one of the most practical ways of saying all the stuff that I thought. I like it. You just make all this stuff sound so good.
Glad. I love this. This is awesome.
So we're going to end talking about feminine energy. And I'm just going to kind of let you go. Like, I want you to explain what you mean by this and how does this work in with everything else that you've got going on?
Absolutely. So, like you said before, we're a very action-oriented society, very action-oriented. And for me, I was the type of person in college and high school even where I had to be in 50 organizations doing 60 things, taking a million classes, and that defined my worth, right? I didn't think about it at the time, but that's what I was thinking when I look back on it now. So it kind of goes back to the money thing as well, but the feminine energy, it has nothing to do with being a boy or a girl. It is all about just receiving. So feminine energy is more predominant in women biologically, is, just in terms of description, but everybody has both masculine and feminine energy. And I am the queen of masculine energy. I will get things done, add everything on my plate.
Charge. Yep. 100%.
Yeah. And I'm like, why are my traps up to here? Why am I ready to fight? Just fight mode, and it has its time and place. It's how I get things done. But ultimately, it's not who I feel like I am at the end of the day. And just for people watching, I've always heard that if you're trying to figure out if you're more of a masculine energy or a feminine energy person, just like from an innate level, you have to just think about how you are when you're not stressed. Okay. Do you like to lean back? Do you like to have things given to you? And that's not in a selfish way, but do you like to receive, or are you a person that prefers to provide and to give? And there's providing elements again. And it's a very, very hard thing to
and in feminine, I totally get it, because in feminine, it's more of a, do I like to nurture? Like, and if yes, providing, meaning I went out and got the groceries, but is that because you're wanting to like make dinner and feed your family?
Exactly.
Whereas providing, I totally get it. Providing would be more like, if I can bring home this check and this, and then I don't care what's done with it, but can I have it in that situation where like the feminine part of providing is nurturing, I think.
Exactly. No, I'm so glad you said that, because I haven't fully been able to verbalize that. That's exactly.
Well, that's where I've had to find, and I think part of it is having a kid. Like I was very almost like aggressively into my masculine energy until like you literally weigh, in my case, like over 40 pounds more than normal, feet are swollen, like it will throw you on your back, and you have to figure out, how to find that nurturing aspect.
Absolutely.
You have no choice.
Exactly. And so if it were up to me, as much as I love doing and I'll always want to be doing something, I would prefer to have things flow easily to me. And I think most people feel that way. But most of us reside in our masculine energy. We feel like we need to do something. And if it's not working, then what more can we make happen? And we got to do, and it's very sympathetic nervous system based. It's fight or flight. It's stress. It's high cortisol. It's high body fat. It's
type 2 diabetes.
It's every possible thing. And so I really want to begin to help women, especially us entrepreneurs. We lean towards the masculine. I just want us to have the conversation and begin to like remember how it feels to be feminine at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not something I've fully developed in my conversation online yet, but I think about it all the time, and I'm trying to practice it, whether it's going to get a massage, whether it's taking the day off and closing the computer, whether it's walking around your house naked, whatever it is that you want to do, feeling good in your body, trusting that things will happen for you and that they will work out for you. That's all receiving. That's feminine energy.
And I think the buzzword self-care really lights up this area. So much, because that's something that, like I mentioned, I'm obviously online coach, and I mentor other moms as well. And that's something that we say, like, you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Like, that you have to take care of yourself, whatever that looks like. And I love that feminine energy, how you're putting it in that perspective, because we live in a very masculine world. And that's not me being sexist at all. That's me saying, like, that's our energy, is that of go, 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 provide, provide, provide. There's no time to nurture. You need to be doing and getting and owning and keeping up with your neighbors. Like,
everything is like survival mode. Right. Everything has to, even though the sky's not falling, but we all just,
we have so much. We have so much. Like, let's sit back and appreciate. And
it's so self-created. It's so self-created. And exactly, to lean back and appreciate and remember to just love yourself. We don't even know what that means. We don't know what it feels like to truly love ourselves.
And that's why self-care is a thing now, because no one knows what it is. Everyone's like, well, what? Can you give me a list of things that I can do? And I will give you a list. If you need it,
that is so true.
But I joke, like, sometimes for me, like, it's literally, I fill up my toddler, like, she takes a bath, and then I'm like, tell my husband, can you get her dressed for bed? Because I'm going to sit in her bath water and like fill it the rest of the way up. And like, that's my bath. It's nothing fancy, but like, that is my moment.
Having 5 minutes, meditating, turning the lights down low. Absolutely. And you're helping me really understand how my brand comes around full circle in those 3 pillars, because the self-care ties right back into fitness. Fitness helps you become a better entrepreneur, and remembering to lean into your feminine energy. You can do that through self-care. So just giving yourself the space to exhale, because we're always trying to inhale, and finding that peace. What does that fulfillment look like for you? Tony Robbins talks about science. There's a science to success. We can all be successful. That's the easy part. But there's an art to fulfillment. Everybody's different in what's going to fulfill them. So learning yourself in that way, again, going back to identity, learning what makes you tick, what makes you happy, and identifying those things truly, truly is what's going to help you be able to be at the top of the ladder with a sense of fulfillment, because so many of us will push and grind and we're not even happy doing it.
Yeah.
So it's just getting in touch with that side of yourself.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I love that. I mean, taking these three, kind of revolving them around the self, you know?
Yeah.
So I love that. Okay. So before we're completely done, tell us like what kind of stuff you're working on right now. What's the next step for you? What, you know, however much or little you want to talk about.
Absolutely. So right now, my biggest project is my podcast. We have episode 5 coming out tomorrow, which is super exciting. So it's called the Active and Attractive Podcast. And I don't know how I came up with such an awesome name. I'm so proud of the name.
It is a great name.
I don't know where it came from. I
love it.
Woke up out of my nap.
Because that's you.
Yeah.
That's you. And I swear, like, for people, if you're listening to this, you need to find the video. If I somehow, by the time you hear it, I put it just on audio. She is the most beautiful person ever. And
oh my gosh,
the kind of person that, like, the people from when we worked together at the rec, the marketing crew would come in, like, take pictures. She'd always look good. I'm like, I never look good. Like, somehow I do a bicep curl, like, with this face.
Yeah.
And, like, Sammy's like,
you guys.
I don't even. But active and attract, that is you. That is like 100% you. That is you.
And thank you so much for saying that. No, it's funny you say that actually, because that was the whole thing is I've gotten so much more into this receiving and attracting things to me. I don't have to run after everything. I can be myself and pull people to me. The right people will come to me the same way I get pulled to the right people for me. Yeah. And so it's redefining. All my clients come to me to become different physically. They think their worth is defined on their physical attraction. So my whole concept is I want to redefine the definition of attraction, because we're not attracted. This whole conversation has led up to this. We're not defined by our physicality. There's so many people that we see that maybe by society standards wouldn't be considered hot or attractive, but there's something about them that we just are captivated by and we want to be around that person. That's attraction. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with how you look. Looks go away after a while.
Yeah.
So learning how to be more energetically attractive through and manifest things for yourself, you can attract whatever you want, and using exercise and activity and nutrition and health can help you get there. I keep saying over and over, you can meditate, you can journal. Those are some ways that people learn about themselves. It's some ways that people try to increase their vibrations. But another way that people don't talk about is exercise and activity. So active and attractive is me interviewing other female entrepreneurs and getting the back end side of their story. Everyone sees their success. They see that they're training or coaching a bunch of people. They're bringing in a bunch of revenue. But how are you sustaining that as an entrepreneur over time? And that's what the entire podcast is. It's interviewing people like you and me to see what are our secrets? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we see that health and fitness has elevated our attractiveness to our entrepreneurial world?
Oh my gosh. So cool. So cool. So how else can we find you? So is this on your podcast? Is it on iTunes? We can find it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So how else can we connect with you though?
Okay. So I'm also on Facebook. So you can find me on Facebook under Samantha Nicole, or you can join my online Facebook group, The Fit Tank, FITTANK. You can also find me on Instagram at The Fit Tank as well. Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. So thank you so much for being here. This was such a great conversation.
Yes.
And I'm just excited for everybody to hear this, because it goes into a lot of things that I don't think I've said as eloquently as you did. So
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Oh my gosh. Bye.
Bye. Well, that was Absolutely amazing. Probably one of, I always say this, but one of my favorite so far. I think the things that she brought to the table were so applicable to just about anybody that hears this. So if you're stumbling on this for the first time, my goodness, you found a good one. There is something that Sammy said that you can apply to your life. Don't know which part of all the awesomeness it is, but it's there. Thank you so much for joining me on Mimo Chat today. And if you want more information about the Mind into Motion 12-week program, it's launching in January 2019. You can find all of that information and more, as well as information on how to get personally coached and mentored by me at GretchenGegg.com. That's GretchenGegg.com. Anyway, it's been absolutely wonderful. And, no matter what yesterday threw you, I can't even talk today, turn around, look down the road, and you guys keep facing forward.